Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. Well, this morning, you've already heard that it's Rod Christensen's birthday coming up on Halloween. And so Chris may already have mentioned this, but I sort of checked out if there are some other famous people who were born on that date. And one source says, and I'm not sure how they determined this, that there are 244 famous people born on October 31st. So we got to up that number to 245. But a couple of the others were Michael Landon, Jane Pauley, Dan Rather, Michael Collins, the astronaut, and name familiar to some folks, Vanilla Ice was born on October 31st. Well, numbers are fascinating. Math has never been my big thing. Beyond geometry, I'm going, I don't understand this. I did pass my statistics course in graduate school, but still couldn't tell you most of what they talked about because those numbers just way beyond me, and it fascinates me of all the things that mathematicians decide and know and figure out. Some of you have probably watched the TV program Numbers, and you've seen those long formulas on the blackboards and all the stuff they can do. Whether that's how much of that's true, I don't know, but math is a field that just blows my mind. Anyhow, special today is the number 50, and 50, of course, follows 49 and precedes 51. 50 is the smallest number that is the sum of two non-zero square numbers. And it is also the sum of three squares. 50 equals 3 to the second power plus 4 to the second power. Now that's stuff that you really need to know. In science, the number 50 is the atomic number of tin, and the fifth magic number in nuclear physics. In years, the traditional number of years in a Jubilee period is 50. In sports, the jersey number 50 has been retired by a number of North American sports teams in honor of past playing greats. In Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Angels, for coach Jimmy Reese, who served with the team when it was known as the California Angels. In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs have retired the number 50 for Hall of Famer David Robinson. And in the NFL, the New York Giants have retired that number for Ken Strong. And also, there are numerous sports teams that have retired the number 50 in honor of some of their players. But in other fields, here's some of the ways you hear the number 50. There are, of course, 50 states in the United States of America. And the TV show now brought back Hawaii Five-0 is called that because Hawaii was the 50th state. And also because of that program, 5-0 is the slang for police officers and or a warning that police are approaching. 50 is a caliber of ammunition, .50 inches. In the percentage, 50% equivalent to 1/2, so that the phrase 50-50 commonly expresses something divided equally in two. In business, of course, this is often donated as being the ultimate in an equal partnership. You know that on Nishna Valley, quite often we talk about 50th anniversaries, and of course that's known as the golden anniversary. We talked about Vanilla Ice as the name of a rapper. Well, the nickname 50 Cent is also a rapper. 50 is the number of chapters in the book of Genesis. And you have a Kennedy half dollar. That's worth 50 cents. And who's on the $50 bill? President Ulysses S. Grant. Couple of sort of popular items. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover is a song by Paul Simon. And more recently, perhaps you saw the movie 50 First Dates. Fabulous 50s is a nickname for the 1950s decade. And if you're in Canada, you'll find a Canadian brand of beer called 50 Ale, which was created in 1950 to commemorate a celebration of a brewery, but it's still popular today. So you could probably come up with a list of other ways we use the number 50, 50%, half and half, all related to the number 50. Well, what about numbers? Just numbers in general. When did we start using numbers? Has that always been around? Well, almost. It's speculated that the first known use of numbers dates back to around 35,000 BC. Bones and other artifacts have been discovered with marks cut into them, which many consider to be tally marks, and the uses of these tally marks may have been for counting elapsed time, such as number of days, or keeping records of quantities, such as of animals. Tallying systems have no concept of place value, such as currently used in a decimal notation. The first known system with a place value was the Mesopotamian base 60 system, and the earliest known base of 10, which we use now, the 10 system dates to 3100 BC in Egypt. So numbers have been around for a great deal of time. Now, sort of interesting, I think, is that the use of 0 as a number has not always been used. Many of those beginners did not use 0, but some of them did. The Babylonian and Egyptian text used it, and Egyptians had a specific word for the 0. So, like I say, though not everybody used the number 0, didn't consider it a number. And there is also the use of negative numbers. Now, when you start looking into numbers, there's a whole list of kinds of numbers: natural numbers, negative numbers, just a whole description of, again, way outside my knowledge. Think about how numbers play in your life. Do you know your Social Security number? And if you check into any health care establishment or lots of other places, you're going to have to give your Medicare number. And you have a number on your driver's license, which used to be your Social Security number. It is no longer. I'm sort of guessing most people do not have their driver's license memorized like they do their Social Security number. And what about that whole list of numbers in your head that are telephone numbers? I know you have a bunch of those memorized. You think of a person, you think of a place, and automatically that telephone number comes into your mind. And then, I haven't looked up what the date of this was, but not too far back in history, we added zip codes. And you can have a 5 zip code, or you could add 4 extra numbers for your zip code. So numbers, they're not only important in birthdays, but they're important in everyday life when we are using them. And it's pretty important to have a basic understanding of numbers, although with our calculators we no longer have to add 4 and 4 makes 8, etc., learning that whole table. But it is pretty important to understand those importance of numbers and what they mean. I'm thinking there are a number of people, I don't think anybody can argue with this, that are in trouble because the numbers that they let the dollars count up on their credit cards, and those numbers keep adding and keep adding. And if they take a look at what the interest rate is, another number, a percentage number, some people could not repay their credit cards in their lifetime because that keeps piling up. So some basic understanding of numbers, I think, is really important in terms of getting us on through life, but you perhaps don't need to be a mathematical genius to get your way through life. Do you have a favorite number? Some people count on favorite numbers as their lucky number. So just kind of think about what numbers mean to you. And until next time, happy birthday to all of those folks who have birthdays this weekend, and especially to Rod Christensen.